Hello, ODAC fans, and welcome to the latest edition of ODAC Chat. Today we have a special feature for you. As joining us here is the Marjorie Berkley Award winner for the 2020-21 academic year, and Courtney Berry from Washington and Lee Volleyball. Courtney, how are you today?
I'm doing well, enjoying my day, and just really honored to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm honored to have you. And as we take a look at the award that you won right there, when you found out about it, when you learned about what it was, just tell me what it means to you to earn an award that not just recognizes you for what you do in the classroom, but also your civic and leadership opportunities, as well as on the floor for the Generals volleyball program.
Yeah, the award was a really special one to win. I think because all these things that I've been involved with throughout my time in college was never for an award. It was really just because I've had people in my life who've poured into me in certain ways, and I wanted to be able to pass that along, whether it was through leading my team, whether it was through Bible studies that I led, or just pouring into people in certain ways. I think it's just really cool that that was recognized by my coaches and the athletic directors and just people in general, just because that was something that people had done for me and I wanted to pass that along. So it's definitely an honor to be awarded for something that, could be behind the scenes work, but I definitely was surprised and honored and very excited to win this award.
Well, let's take a look at two aspects of the award criteria, if you will. Let's look at some of the accomplishments and high points. What sticks out to you in your recollection, if you will, or some of the major points for you about your athletic and your academic tenure there at Washington and Lee?
Athletics was such a big part of my college experience, and I always say that I would not have done anything differently. I'm so glad that I decided to continue playing volleyball in college. There were definitely some high moments, and I specifically remember this past season, traveling to Virginia Wesleyan and playing a really, really tough 5-set match that really challenged our team in a good way. And I got to break a blocking record there, which was really fun and exciting. We got back on the bus and our coach announced it, and it was just a really great environment. And then we got Chick-fil-A after, which was also definitely a highlight. But yeah, that was a big one. And then our ODAC championships that I got to be a part of, both my sophomore and senior year, those were highlights. And then moving on to the NCAA tournament my sophomore year, playing down in Rome, Georgia at Berry College was so cool and fun to be a part of. But honestly, every time I stepped onto the court, it was so exciting to get to play. And I think I was kind of made more aware of that this past year, about how lucky and blessed we actually are to get to continue this sport that we love in college, because not everybody gets to do that. And I think that that's something that I've slowly learned over the course of my college career.
When we take a look at that a little bit, when you think about the athletic side, and you started to touch on this year in particular, so take us back to the fall here when it looked like, we weren't sure what was going to happen at all. You may not get a chance to play. And then we're able to work through the athletic directors and coaches, and then keeping you all as student athletes kind of in the loop and working through the processes that here you go, you got as close to a full ODAC schedule as you could, maybe not the non-conference schedule, but close to an ODAC schedule as you could, complete with a tournament, win a championship, hoist a trophy. Talk a little bit about just the process of going from fall where you weren't sure you're going to be able to play, maybe not, and then here you are holding a trophy at the end of the year.
This last year has been the definition of an emotional roller coaster. I remember in this past summer, I thought that I was done playing volleyball, my career was over, and I grieved it in that way. And then we got back in the fall, and our school did as best they could to try to get us to practice. And honestly, this fall was really difficult just as a team in general to kind of boost our spirits and motivate ourselves to work towards something we didn't know was going to happen or not. Especially our senior class, we, at least the underclassmen were working towards next year, but we were like, okay, well, we're going to just try our best and encourage. And we as a senior class kind of had a conversation about how even if we didn't get a season to ourselves, we wanted to be able to impact our team in the future. And so we were going to work hard alongside them, whether or not we got that spring season. But we did get the spring season, which was so exciting. And, I'm just so proud of the way our team performed. And I felt like we all made this commitment at the beginning of our season to really be locked down on COVID rules and really put everything we could into volleyball, and that if we got a season, we were going to make the most of it. And so I think that kind of carried us through our season. And before every game, Coach Snyder gave us a talk about how lucky we were to just step on the court every game. And that was kind of the mentality and the momentum that carried us through our season. So it was a lot of grit and hard work and discipline in terms of disciplining ourselves to stay motivated. So it was definitely an interesting year, and I think it challenged us in the best of ways. And I hope that for the younger players, that it'll carry them through their next couple years as well.
Well, I'm going to show a little bit of discipline here and have a quick pause so we can have a word from one of our sponsors, Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance.
With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
Courtney, we appreciate our friends at Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance are the sponsor for each one of the scholar athletes in all 24 of our ODAC sports. So they also help out with championships, and that obviously we've heard from you about winning 2 championships in the ODAC, but the academic side is just as important, if not more important side of that award. And it all started for you at the very beginning with a Johnson Scholarship coming through from Washington and Lee, and then being able to continue to do so many things academically there at W&L. Talk a little bit about, some of the highlight portions of that.
For sure. So for my academic side of my student athlete experience, I was a double major. So I got to participate both in the psychology major and the strategic communication major at W&L. And psychology was awesome. I took a psych class my freshman year and just fell in love with it and continued it all the way through. Got to participate in some on-campus research and learned about how cell phones affect study habits in students, which is very important to learn about. Don't have your cell phone with you while you study if you're watching this and you're a student. And then on the other side of that, I got to participate in a lot of different outreach programs for my communications major, actually, and my psychology major. For my capstone for psychology, I got to do a project with the Walker program, which is a entrepreneurship program to help people of color who are interested in entrepreneurship start new businesses in Lexington. So I worked with them for my capstone there. And then for different projects in communications classes I got to make a how-to kind of life book manual for a organization in Lexington called Project Horizon, which helps women get back on their feet if they've been the victims of domestic violence. So that was a really, really cool project. And I got to be the head illustrator on that. So we made basically a book for them that taught them basic life skills. And then extracurricular, but also kind of communications related, I got to be a part of the WLU Lex, which is a student-run communications team that's based out of the communications office. And my focus there was basically to spread positivity across campus. And that kind of started before COVID, but it proved itself even more important during this last year for COVID. I really focused on gratefulness projects where we would encourage students to write down things they were grateful for and send those messages to whoever they were talking about. And we had some pumpkin smashing around Halloween to help people get some frustration out. And then we just tried to plan fun events like different live music events. That was in previous years, but I've definitely been all over the place. And then outside of my major, I've loved studying art. It's been one of my favorite, like entirely unrelated from school, or I guess it is a class, but entirely unrelated from like my majors and athletics. There was just kind of a place for me to take a breath and kind of be able to use my creative side a little bit. So I've loved every part of my academic experience at W&L, and I'm just so grateful for the liberal arts education it's given me.
Well, I mean, you kind of lead in there to where we're going to wrap things up here a little bit, is taking a look at 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, when you're looking at what you want from a collegiate experience, from an undergraduate experience. Washington and Lee was your choice and somebody that targeted you. And obviously we're hearing the ends to your 4-year experience, your 4-year journey at W&L. Talk about what you were looking for from a collegiate experience and what made Washington and Lee the right choice for you.
I love talking about this because I'm a tour guide, so I could talk to you about this all day. But I am so glad I chose W&L as my college. I would do it all over again, 10 times over. I actually, when deciding to go to college, wasn't even sure if I wanted to play volleyball or not at a higher level. And I was considering going to a bigger school and maybe playing club, or going to a smaller school and playing, D3 volleyball. So I'm so glad I made the decision to do that. It has proved to be such a great part of my college decision and experience. I talked to my mom about this my freshman year, but I say this on my tours all the time. Volleyball gave me 20 immediate best friends, and that made for the best college experience because I immediately felt welcomed. But I felt that from all over campus too, not just on the volleyball team. And I think that's ultimately why I made my decision to go to W&L. When I visited campus for my recruiting visit my senior year of high school, I got to sit in on a class, and the professor made a point to ask me my name, ask me to participate in class, and then stayed after to chat with me. And then that professor actually ended up becoming my major advisor, and he's the one who I did research with, and he's been one of my closest professors throughout my time at W&L. And I think that's just a small little testament to the community that W&L really provides, and what I felt during my recruiting visit here. Just that idea of such a community, such a group of people who want to encourage each other to be the best versions of themselves. And we don't really settle for just taking you and, taking what we can get, but our professors, our teammates, our coaches really challenge us to work hard to improve as people and grow throughout our 4 years. So I'm really excited to be there, and to have been there, and it's been such a great experience.
I know it's hard to talk about something post when it kind of just finished up, just happened here, maybe still working toward little bits and pieces of it here, but that begs the question, what's next for Courtney Berry?
Yes, so I'm actually currently working at a Christian sports camp this summer. So I'm the programs director on the leadership team here. So I'm putting together fun skits and worship and different things like that. So I'm working there. I got here 2 days after I graduated, and I'll be here until August. And then I'm moving to New York City in September to start a job as a strategic communications consultant. So got some big things lined up for the future, and I'm really excited to see where that takes me.
Well, we're excited to see you succeed in going from a smaller town as in Lexington to the big metropolis in New York City.
I know.
A little bit daunting, but we know you're ready for it. Courtney, I want to thank you on behalf of the ODAC office, and to congratulate you as well on winning the Marjorie Berkley Award and having an outstanding athletic and academic career at Washington and Lee.
Thank you so much.
ODAC fans, stay tuned for our next edition of ODAC Chat.